that are profit centers for you, and you've got to treat them like gold. You have got to give them every opportunity to be successful, or they're going to find someplace else to go. Don't be scared to tell the world that you're looking for generator technicians. That's actually a good thing. That means that you're growing. Teamwork is also what management is going to do to give me the tools, to give me the equipment, to give me the training to make me successful out there as a standby generator tech. For these generator techs, it's all about the money. And yes, you're going to give them opportunities. You want to, as part of your description of wages to him, is the whole package of what his total wages are. Welcome to the Standby Generator Podcast, brought to you by Power Alliance. I'm your host, Jim Swetman. Together, we will dive into the world of the standby power business, offering expert insights, industry trends, and actionable strategies to help you grow and scale your generator business. Whether you're looking to optimize your operations, increase profitability, or stay ahead of the curve, this podcast is your go-to resource. So grab a seat and let's power up your business for success. Hello, and thank you for joining this week's Standby Generator Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Swetman, and this week we're going to talk about how to hire a generator technician. I have been doing a lot of calls, talking to a lot of dealers in the last couple of weeks, and part of the issue that I'm seeing or hearing right from talking to you, the standby dealers, is trying to find a generator technician. Well, I can tell you from my experience of owning a standby dealership for 20 years and going and hiring multiple technicians, it's not easy, because you know what? There is no pool of generator technicians out there that you can pull from. It's not like being an electrician where there's electricians that you can pull from and you've got choices out there of what you can do. But finding a generator guy to work on your air-cooled generators or even your commercial and industrial generators is not easy. And unfortunately, because there's such a small pool of available candidates out there, you as a standby dealer wanting to grow is extremely difficult to do. The onus on you is you are going to have to take responsibility of training that person. Now, yes, the OEMs out there, the Generacs and Kohlers, they do have the training program for technicians, the online testing to be certified, and of course you can send them to generator school, or some of the OEMs have a class, a mobile class that you can take in your town or a town close to you for standby generator tech training, which you should definitely be signing up for and taking advantage of that whenever that's available, for sure, for your existing technicians, especially with the new product that's out now and some of the different controllers and the changes that are being made. You know, the responsibility of you of being a standby generator dealer is to make sure that your techs are up to date with everything that is out there, new and old, and the responsibility of your senior techs to take the responsibility of training your younger techs as well. So you should definitely be putting budgetary money aside for that and making commitments once a month or once a quarter to be doing some sort of a cross-training of your existing techs between each other and training, because that's the only way that you're going to stay ahead of your competitor. And there's nothing worse than your technician going out to a site, doesn't matter whether it's an air-cooled or liquid-cooled unit, and him not knowing what the heck is wrong with it, or what the next steps are to go ahead and troubleshoot that. Because 8 out of 10 times, that facilities manager or that homeowner is standing in front of the tech wondering what's going on. And if he doesn't know what's going on, it's really ugly, and they're going to hire somebody else to come and take care of it. Or worst case scenario, it's misdiagnosed of what the issue is, and then there are parts thrown at it, and it still doesn't work after the customer just spent $1,000 or $800 for you to fix it, and there's still a problem. So it can just magnify into some big issues. But that's what happens when you don't train and have money in for training and making sure that your techs are up to date. But let's go back to the original part of the podcast is, how do you hire a generator technician? And like we talked about, there's none of them out there, quite frankly. So, how do you go about do it? So let's talk about this and what my experience has been. And there's different ways of doing this, but I'm just going to talk about what my experience is. First thing, of course, the obvious, you have to define the roles and responsibilities of what that's going to be. And it depends on what type of technician you're looking for. You're looking for a level 1 tech, which is just a maintenance technician. Level 1 is just maintenance. He's just an oil changer. And out there, he's not going to be responsible for any repairs starting out, but he's just going to be a level 1 tech. So when you put together your roles and responsibilities, make sure that you're listing that properly. A level 2 tech, of course, you want to be a little bit more detailed as far as what his roles and responsibilities are going to be. You're probably looking for 3 to 5 years of experience of somebody to come in here. So yes, you're still going to be responsible for training, but he's not going to start out brand new, not really understanding the generator or anything else. And the level 3 tech, the way that we used to do it is he's the commercial guy and maybe not the industrial generator, because you got the industrial dealers that are out there for Kohler and Generac. So the commercial generators, I would say anything less than 150 kW gaseous or diesel, that would be considered a level 3 tech. Anything 150 and below, obviously you want to have him as an experienced guy because he's out there working on the bigger stuff, and we want to make sure that you have a guy on board that is representing you properly with that. This episode of the Standby Generator Podcast is proudly presented by Power Alliance, the only mastermind community built specifically for standby generator dealers. At Power Alliance, we believe growth happens faster when you're connected. That's why we bring together like-minded dealers across the country to share real-world insights, solve challenges, and accelerate business success together. From streamlining operations to scaling your service division, Power Alliance gives you the tools, support, and community to take your business to the next level. Learn more and join the movement at www.poweralliance.com. So the first thing is defining roles and responsibilities of what you want that generator technician to do. And where do you post those things? Where do you want to get those out there to do that? Obviously, what you want to do is don't be scared to tell the world that you're looking for generator technicians. That's actually a good thing. That means that you're growing. And in fact, in my podcast that I did, I think it was number 21, just a couple ago, I actually put some benchmarks in there of when you should be hiring technicians, and it really came down to how many maintenance visits you have and how many brand new installations you're doing. But if you look back at just a couple of the podcasts, it gets into much more detail of when benchmark you should be hiring a generator technician. But obviously, you want to post this on the online job boards. You want to post this on Indeed if you have that, ZipRecruiter, or any of those other ones that you do it. Obviously, on your website, on your Facebook page, you want to list it on there, and you want to make it very exciting. Hey, Joe's Generator is growing, and we're looking for qualified candidates to come on board with our very exciting opportunity here in the standby power marketplace. So you want to put that on the Facebook page and any other social marketing pages that you have. You definitely want to list it on that. And then, of course, internal referrals, right? Encourage your current employees to refer people, from their professional networks that they have. And one of the things that I found out from having all those different inputs and coming in is, everything's going to be going to your operations manager, or if you're small, I want to come to you as the owner direct. You want to be able to, run through these real quick to make sure that they're qualified or not as far as how it happens going. And please, when you're looking at where these resumes are coming from, believe it or not, it may not be the electrical guy. It may not be the automotive guy. Those are good groups to come from. It may not be the HVAC guy, the technical guy. Believe it or not, some of our best technicians were in the farming industry. They were farmers. Now, I had a standby generator dealership up here in upstate New York that was very, very successful. And some of our best technicians were farmers. They grew up hands-on, working outside in the cold and the heat with a fantastic work ethic, and they worked out fantastic. So if you see the guy's resume and it said worked on the family farm for 22 years, looking to expand that, don't just throw that away. That may be a good prospect for them to come in and take a look at it. So, don't get sidelined by where these guys are from. And that's really where the next comes in. So we looked at define the roles and responsibilities. We got that out there. Well, they're sourcing the candidate. Where are we putting this so that we want to get the right candidates in here? And the next thing you want to do is, of course, when you start getting these applications in, and you got to remember, some of these applications coming in will not be these shiny, polished resumes, because these are technicians. They're not a professional role, and probably most of them did not go to college, which is perfectly fine because you want the tech with the hands-on experience. They probably didn't get any help putting together their resume or hire anybody to put the resume together. So if it looks kind of quote-unquote unprofessional, again, don't let that sideline you as far as if they look like that they meet your minimum standards, is to call them in and chat with them. So, once they do come in and you do have an interview, whether it's the first interview with you as the business owner or the operations manager, what are the things that you're looking for? To me, there are some very simple first steps that I was looking for when I was hiring a standby generator technician. The first thing was, and again, this is obvious, but boy, oh boy, it used to really tweak me when these things didn't happen, is one, is he going to be on time? Boom. If he's not there 5 minutes before the interview, or he's not sitting in my lobby at the time of interview, boy, oh boy, he's got a heavy mark against him right off the bat. Secondly, I want to make sure that their appearance, their personal appearance is quote unquote semi-professional. If the prospect comes in and he's got long, dirty hair and he's got tattoos all over his body, on his forehead, and he just got done having a cigarette and he's coming in and he's sitting in your lobby, that's exactly the way that he's going to look when he's in front of your customer. So I was very, very particular about personal appearance and to make sure that they looked okay. Now, I didn't mind that they came in with their work clothes on. There were a lot of techs that we interviewed that were coming from their automotive job or from another job, and they had their work clothes on. And there was nothing wrong with that. You don't have to wear a suit, coat, and tie for this type of interview. I would have liked them to come in with a button-down shirt and maybe a pair of slacks on. But if they come in with jeans and a shirt on, with that, that's perfectly fine too, because again, you can work around that. And part of that is when you call them into the office, and you call them into either your office or the conference room, depending on how you're all set up. Some of the first things that I would look at is really the way that they communicate. And the way that they communicate is I want them to be talkative. I want them also to understand specifically what the job is that they're interviewing for. I've had interviews when I first started the company and I was doing all the interviews myself. One of the first things that I would do after they looked okay, after they presented themselves okay in my office or the conference room, is I would ask them, hey, Joe, just a couple of quick questions just to kind of start things out with. Do you know what this interview is for here today? And, yep, it's for generator tech. Great. Do you know what the roles and responsibilities are for this specific interview? Yeah, I think I do. Well, Joe, real quick, have you had any chance at all to do any backgrounds on what Home Power Systems is, or what this generator dealer is, and what we do here? Have you had a chance to take a look at our website? No, I didn't look at your website. Yeah, a friend of mine told me that you had an opening, so I thought I'd just shoot over here real quick. Well, you know what? Those are some of the things that you should start worrying about right off the bat, because if they haven't done any research, if they haven't done any background check, and they just show up in front of you, that should be some red flags that are going off in your head. But if they do okay, yes, I researched this company. I'm very excited to be here, to have the opportunity to be part of the team here. That's why I'm here. And obviously, you want to ask them, why they're looking, or obviously what their background is. You've got their resume in front of them. You can see who they work for. You can ask them those questions and find out what's going on. You may not get a truthful answer. Hopefully you will. But you have to watch out, too, for statements like, you know what, the management over there was really bad, and, we didn't get along, so I'm out looking for some more people. Well, you know what, you got to watch out, too, because to me, that may be problems with him as well. But through this interview process, you'll be able to start pulling that apart. So watch out for reasons why they left the other company. Hopefully, it's because the other company has gone out of business, or the other company went through a purchasing change. They were acquired and they're not there. Or this person has moved here from another state and they're looking to start things up. Those are usually clean cuts that are good for you as far as starting the interview goes. So once you get past some of that early stuff that are going on, you want to make sure that he can communicate. And some of the things you want to talk about is you want to, pay attention to is the attention to detail, right? Check the, commitments to following safety procedures and ensure high quality work, and things like that. And problem solving, right? Gauge their methodology and approach to troubleshooting by asking about times they resolved a difficult or unexpected problem. And some of that, again, part of the communication with this tech that you're interviewing is, what to look for. So you want a strong answer, that should show empathy and the ability to simplify information. One of the things that I always asked is, I said, Joe, interviewing here for this job, when you had to explain, and this is, again, if he does have experience being a generator technician, Joe, if you could explain to me, how did you communicate a technical issue with that generator with a customer that was not technical? what were some of the things and how would you communicate that? So that, let him explain how he would communicate that to the customer, and you'll get, a really good idea as far as how he's going to, communicate with that. Now, again, if you're looking at a brand new technician, you still want to have them. They may say, hey, you know what? I've never worked on a generator before, and I'll be honest with you. I see that you're willing to train, to do that, but let me use an example of another job that I had to explain a technical issue to. So hopefully they'll be able to talk through that. And, attention to detail. You want to make sure, when you ask these behavioral questions, is that, how are they responding to them? Are they meticulous in their process that they're responding to this? So again, 9 times out of 10, this tech will not have any college experience, but they should be able to communicate with you some of their life experiences in working on technical items. Another thing that I was looking for in hiring a standby generator tech, whether it's a level 1 beginner, level 2, being able to do service maintenance and warranty repair, or level 3 looking for a commercial generator tech, is teamwork. You want to be able to make sure that they're understanding what their roles and responsibility are going to be, not only out in the field, but making sure that they're part of the team, and ask them, what does teamwork mean to them? Hopefully their response will be, well, teamwork, I think, as a standby generator tech, kind of works both ways. Teamwork is that I'm going to give you everything that I can every day out in the field, whether it's 107 degrees out or it's 18 degrees with the wind blowing at 30 miles an hour. I'm going to be part of this team to give you everything that I can. The other side of this, again, this is your generator prospect talking to you. Teamwork is also what management is going to do to give me the tools, to give me the equipment, to give me the training to make me successful out there as a standby generator tech. So that is something that obviously that you're looking for a response. That would be a great response. But you want to make sure that he's a teamwork guy, to make sure that he's understanding exactly, how the whole system works as far as that goes. Accountability is really important too. And, you want this guy, this prospect to be, you want him to be enthusiastic and a positive attitude, when he's out there. So you want him to make sure that he's a happy guy. So you want to make sure that he is, going to be, because he's going to be in front of the customer, and you want him to be as positive as possible. And part of that is, you can also train them to be that, but if it's part of, how this person is, you want to make sure that he has those basics as well, that he's a positive person with that. So you've gone through the interviews. You want to do a couple interviews, and one, call them in, get past the first one, and then if probably money's going to come up, right? So in New York State, we have to list a range of what we're going to be paying this person, and everything's hourly workers. So you got to put a range in there of what you're going to be paying this. And the range that you're probably going to have to be paying this is if it's a level 1 tech just starting out. I'm sorry to say this, but even if it's just starting out, he's probably going to want $20 an hour just to get starting out. Now, minimum wage here in New York State is like 16, 17 bucks an hour, so you're almost there anyways. But the key is knowing what the real range is for standby generator technicians, level 1, level 2, and level 3. And you can do a simple search on your computer. You can do an AI search of what generator technicians are doing in your area. But what you do not want to do, and believe me, for these generator techs, it's all about the money. And yes, you're going to give them opportunities. You want to, as part of your description of wages to him, is the whole package of what his total wages are. He is just going to concentrate on his hourly rate. And that's all he's going to think about. Well, $20 an hour, that's $40,000 a year. I guess that's okay. But you know what? I'm going to want to raise here, and I'm going to want to move to a level 2 tech, and really I want to make $30, $35 an hour. That's probably, what I want. And that's what they're going to want is, probably a level 2, a level 3 tech is going to be paying them $80,000 a year. That's just the way it is, $80,000 to $190,000 a year for a level 3. But what you want to do is when you sit with them during the second interview and you're looking to hire him and you want to make the job offer, is you want to put together what the whole package is worth. So let's just say, to make it easy, it's $20 an hour base pay. And then here, Joe, let me tell you what's included or what's part of the whole package that we offer here at our standby generator company. The second is, here are your paid holidays. So you get your 5 or 8 or 10 paid holidays, and you want to have a dollar value after each one of those, because he is getting paid for those paid holidays for not working. So there is a dollar value after each one. If it's 10 paid holidays and he's costing you $500 a day, well, that's a $5,000 ad that he's getting, and you want to have that part of the package. Here is what the medical plan is here at our company. We start out with paying 50% of your medical, and you'll pay the other 50%. And here's single, and here's married, and this is what it's worth. And boom, you have a dollar value past that. Here is what we have also for a training program. We're going to put you through, here's a 1-year commitment that we're going to make to train you, because we want you to be successful. We want you, when you go out in that field, to have all the tools, all the equipment, and all the training that you need to be successful. Because if we're not making you successful, Joe, we're all just wasting our time here. So here is the company commitment that we're going to make. And you might want to have that off to the side because it's not part of his money, but you want to show what your commitment is. That you're going to make a $5,000 to $10,000 commitment for training, and you want to have that dollar value off to the side to show that you're committed into making him successful and being a Generac tech or a Kohler tech or a Cummings tech or whatever it's going to be. The last thing that you want to put on there is the plan, the path for growth in the company. So you want to say, hey, look, here is what our 5-year plan is for you and growth of this company if you want to continue to grow within the company. And you may put a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 items in there for what you show as growth in the company. And then you want to explain to him very briefly what your company business plan is to grow. So when he leaves that and he's given 24 hours or 48 hours to think about that compensation plan, you know what? It's not $20 an hour now. It's not $40,000 a year. It's really kind of a $50,000 to $60,000 plan that this company has put together for him, because he's going to go home and he's going to discuss this with his better half, whether it's wife or his other half. He's going to discuss this with them, and they're going to talk about whether they want to either leave a company that they're working for, this technician, or they're going to choose you from other companies that he is also interviewing with, your competitors, and he's going to discuss with his wife or himself about which way that you want to go. Now, you have put together a very detailed plan to have this gentleman or this woman to come to work for you, and I can guarantee you he's probably going to pick you because you're organized, You've got a path forward for this technician. He's looking for growth within the industry, and he sees what your commitment is for being a dealer in this standby generator industry. And you'll also want to put together what the onboarding process is. So you want to give him a path, a 60-day or 30-day or 90-day path. If he does accept the offer, here is what your first 30 and 60, 90 days is going to be. And maybe during that negotiation process, you even put in there that there is an opportunity after 60 days that you'll be getting paid this much. If you reach these simple criteria, these 5 or 6 or 10 items over this 30 or 60-day period, you will then be offered that extra $1 or $2 or $3 an hour or whatever it's going to be. So again, you're giving him a clear path forward for getting a raise. You're getting him a clear path forward of what it's going to be to level 2 tech. You're getting him a clear path forward of what it's going to be in the growth and long term for this standby generator company that you have. Those are the steps that I took in running my standby generator. And believe me, when I left, I had over 30 technicians working for me, and we did not have a big turnover. Yes, we had the typical 10%, and no matter what that is, people move, people get tired, they're just going to leave you for anything else. But I never had a big 30 or 40% turnover in my company. And then there are also discussions that we can have about retention, and I did talk about that in some of my previous podcasts about how to retain employees. And now this has become your employee, and about what they're looking for and how to retain and how to gain respect from your technicians, because these are the guys that are making you money in the field. The technicians are the ones that are profit centers for you, and you've got to treat them like gold. You have got to give them every opportunity to be successful, or they're going to find someplace else to go. So hopefully this helped you out in looking at the hiring techniques for a standby generator technicians. And like I said, there's nobody out there. There's nobody out there. You've got to commit to training them. You got to have your senior tech that you have committed to spending time and training them. And yes, you're going to lose some time out there on productivity. But if you put together these simple steps, you will retain that technician. He will be a long-term person for you, and you'll end up being a very, very successful company. So those are some of the simple things that I have for this specific generator standby podcast. And again, I'm Jim Swetman, your host, and hopefully this helps you out. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you for tuning in to the Standby Generator Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share. For more resources, tips, and to connect with other like-minded professionals, visit us at poweralliance.com or visit our social media pages. Until next time, keep powering up your business.